Hare Krishna. In the previous talks we were discussing about how when one goes from tamaguna to rajoguna to sattoguna, the habits become more purer and purer and entangle becomes lesser and lesser. And one experiences more happiness and more freedom and more wisdom, knowledge. And this is practically observable. So I was telling you to compare between the materialistic lifestyle and the lifestyle of a sadhaka devotee in ISKCON. Janisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagrati samyami tasyam jagrati bhutani sanisha apashyato mune. Krishna also says what is night for a yogi is day for the materialist, and what is day for the materialist is night for the yogi. He says that. So then, in the later talk we were discussing about how when you observe the kind of religiosity practiced by the people, it is like a child will go to school only when mother gives some Cadbury or something, or somebody following the traffic laws, not so willingly, still they do it for the sake of following the norms of the government. Similarly, people follow ritualistic religion very easily. But if somebody can have a wholehearted consciousness, just like parents dedicatedly, committedly, lovingly, sacrificingly serving a child, like that if one can devote consciousness for Krishna, Krishna calls it as Sarva Bhavena Bharata. Aham sarvasya prabho mattas sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha. And then bhava samanvitaha yo mam eva asammudho janati purushottamam sa sarvaved bhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. Same thing he says. Sarva bhavena bharata. He brings his bhava in serving me. There also he says buddha. Bhava samanvidaha. That means my devotees' devotional service is full of bhava, he says. So we can have bhava for Krishna or bhava for Maya. So people bring their bhava for Maya very easily. They become so emotional and sentimentally driven when it comes to the emotions they feel in relation to Maya, isn't it? So we were discussing these things, but one interesting observation you will make. When you bring your body to the temple, that is called religiosity. When you speak out the mantras or utter the songs, that is called ritual. But if one can bring the mind, that is considered extraordinary. It is counted as manasa puja. Whereas you rarely hear about kaya puja or vacha puja. You hear about manasa puja. Why? For example, Shridham Mayapur, you will see thousands of yatriks bring their body to the holy place. There are old people who are 80, 90 years old, they go for Chardham Yatra also. And they go to even Badrinath, Kedarnath also. That means bringing the body to a holy spot doesn't seem to be so difficult. Of course, it is more glorious than atheism. But bringing the body to holy place, many people are already doing it. And then if you see the words, there are many people in many temples having some puja part. There are people who daily do Vishnu Sahasranam also. There are people who daily recite some songs. Even ladies sitting at home, they have some poti, a small booklet. Even they have a habit of reciting some songs or prayers. That also doesn't seem to be so difficult. That means religiosity and ritualistic worship both seem to be something happening in our country very easily. But what is most difficult seems to be bringing the mind. Therefore Krishna says, Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. See, mam namaskuru you do with the body. Madhyaji you do with the body. Yaji means worshipping, like Pujari is worshipping in the altar. That is Madhyaji. Mam namaskuru, outside the altar we are all doing Mam namaskuru. Both the things Krishna says after one very important thing, which is Anmana. My dear sir, bring your mind first. Then you do puja, put your body down, all that is all right for me. Even if you don't do that, also all right. But what is most important, bring your mind. For example, the Pratishthanapur Brahman, he brought his mind and he didn't even move his body. You don't hear about him offering obeisances or doing any puja. He just sat in one place in the bank of a holy river and thought about golden vessels, silver vessels. He brought all the items for cooking. He made sweet rice, many other items. So Lord was extremely pleased with that type of Manasa Puja alone. So bringing the Kaya, bringing the Vacha is not as difficult as bringing the Manasa, mind. Krishna says, Manmana Bhavat Bhakto. Mayi Arpita Mano Buddhir. Mamai Vaishyasi Asamshaya. One who offers his mind to me. Actually, after telling about the mind only, it tells about Buddhi also. Why? If your mind is offered to Krishna, then the Buddhi will make plans to execute Krishna consciousness. If your mind is offered to Maya, then Buddhi will make plans to help you execute your desires in the direction of Maya. Generally, mind has the likes and dislikes. If mind likes Maya, then Buddhi will make plans for Maya. Mind likes Krishna, then the Buddhi will also make plans for enhancing your Krishna consciousness. In the conditioned stage, Buddhi becomes subservient to the mind. Although Buddhi is supposed to be superior to mind. And the Buddhi becomes like a henpecked husband. A henpecked husband has no power over the wife, no control. He just wags his tail and follows her. Like that, the mind is followed by the intelligence. Intelligence just follows, especially in the material world. So, because Buddhi is subservient to mind, the most important thing seems to be bringing the mind. That is why it says, Bahujanma. Bahujanma, what that was? Bahujanma yadi? Shravana Kirtan Tabutana Payede Krishna Pade Premadhan. He says, even if you chant Hare Krishna for millions of lives, one will not attain the lotus feet of Krishna. This is a chilling warning for all the sadhakas. That means, even if Namakshara Bahaya, Nama Nahi Haya. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, you can chant with the lips, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Ram, Ram, without bringing the mind. If you are adamantly refusing to bring your mind in hearing the holy name, then even if you chant holy name for millions of years, it will not awaken love for Krishna and Krishna's lotus feet. He says, it's a very great warning and danger for all of us. So which means this is actually told to slap the adamant nature of the conditioned soul to hold on to various material thoughts during chanting and during practice of spiritual life. Yes, we have to bring our body to the temple. Yes, we have to move our lips and sing the arati songs or the rituals. But more important than these two things is bringing our mind. Mayi arpita mano buddhir. He says, Mayi sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa nirashir nirmama bhutva yudyasva vigata jvara. This is the first verse 3.30 where Krishna is telling that Mayi, he says, offer to me your buddhi, your activities, everything. But as he proceeds, we will see, he says, even if you offer your activities to me, it is not that great because somebody may be offering activities, but may be thinking something else. Like a king's example is given by Baladeva Devbhushan. Your servant may be doing charmer to your king, but he may be thinking, maybe king will increase my salary and I can, have a better, bigger house for my wife and children and things like that. He's not bringing his mind. But Baladeva Devbhushan says, don't be like that servant of the king. Be a servant whose mind is offered in the service. So therefore Krishna says, Manmana Bhavamat Bhakto Mayeva Mana Adatsva Mayi Buddhim Niveshaya Nivasishyasi Mayeva Atavurdvam Na Samshaya. He says, bring your mind and focus it on me, then offer your intelligence to me. He says. So let us take this seriously about the Manasa Puja of the Pratishthanapur Brahman. Manasa Puja is pleasing to the Lord. And Lord immediately sent the Vaikuntha plane to pick up that Brahman and bring him back to Vaikuntha because Lakshmiji suggested to Lord Narayana, if he is offering your mind, You should bring him here because his mind is in Vaikuntha. You should bring him to Vaikuntha. Huh? She said, if mind is not in Vaikuntha, then why should the person be brought to Vaikuntha? Think about it. Harinam Prabhu ki